sat before you today with an iced matcha and a drink. Y'all, if this matcha isn't delicious, I'm gonna crash out. It's delicious. Hi guys, it's Anya. Welcome back to my channel. Today I thought we could do a sit down video. I haven't done one of those in ages. And I am going to recommend to you the best books to read if you're getting into reading, or if you're wanting to get into reading, or maybe you're wanting to get your friends into reading. These are my top 10 book recs that will 100% get you into reading. I made a list and it's in a particular order, but all of these books are good. It just depends on what kind of person you are. So I try to make it very diverse. Okay, let me put these books down. I hate doing these videos because I have to take apart my entire bookshelf, but anything for you, Pookie. Anything for you. My bow is crooked. Okay, I fixed it. First things first, the Powerless series. Now, I have a love-hate relationship with this series because objectively this isn't como se dice good. However, I think if you are wanting to get into reading and you're kind of starting out, you probably haven't read that many fantasy books yet, so you won't notice that some of these books lack in quality. That doesn't mean that they're not an enjoyable experience, don't get me wrong, but with Powerless, it's just a collage of a bunch of tropes that we've already seen. However, if you're getting into reading, you wouldn't have seen them yet, so you're gonna enjoy this. This book is for people who loved Hunger Games and Maze Runner and Divergent growing up and are now looking to read a fantasy book. It's about Peyton, who lives in this fantasy world where everyone has certain powers except the ordinary, and Peyton is an ordinary. Now, in this world, the ordinaries are supposed to be abolished, and yet some of them have survived. And then there's Kai, who is the prince, but his power is to be an enforcer and get rid of the ordinaries. They meet, they have a little moment, and then Peyton and Kai both get called into the trials, and so she has to go through the trials. So does Kai. Only one of them can survive. The rest unravels. It is a very fun read. It's quite fast paced. There's a lot of banter between the characters. However, I must warn you, it is a series. There is a novella that I love, and then there's the second part which I hated. So caution. But there is a third book coming out this year and I have high hopes. I think Miss Girl can pull it together, and the author is actually only like 21 or something. She's in her early 20s. She wrote this book when she was, I think, 18 or 19. Hats off. Next up, we have the Thursday Murder Club series. I promise these won't all be series, but low-key, a good amount of them will. The Thursday Murder Club series is definitely more on the comedic side. It's essentially a murder mystery. You're following a group of seniors who live in an elderly home, and they start the Thursday Murder Club. And together they go on little adventures and solve murder mysteries, and it is so funny, so witty, still enticing, still suspenseful, and overall I would say it's very comforting. I would say in this series the second and the fourth book are the best, so you're in for a treat. This next book is criminally underrated, but if you are looking for something suspenseful and thrilling and the kind of book that you just cannot put down, we have The Drift by CJ Tudor. I always go on about this book, but it is just so good. I don't even know how to explain the plot of this. It is a thriller, it's a mystery. We are following 3 different POVs, different groups of people who are all affected by this major snowstorm. One group is in this like bus crash, one of them is stranded in this cable car, the other one is isolated in a house, and it is so good. So good. It's just such a page turner. I genuinely was shook. If you have the time to binge this, I would binge it. If you're just wanting something really like, oh my god, what the fuck is going on? I think if you're like a fan of the series Lost, that kind of every episode is like, what the fuck is going on? That's what this chapter... Hello? That's what this book is like. Every chapter it's like, oh my god, what's going on? I need answers. However, unlike Lost, the end actually makes sense. On a similar vibe, similar note, we have Sundial. However, Sundial isn't necessarily a mystery, but more so a horror. The ending of this, what the fuck is going on? We are following a mother of 2 children. One of them is kind of scary. She's kind of a weirdo. One POV following the mom, the second POV, the crazy daughter. Mind you, this kid is like a child, okay? A child. It is so mind-baboozling. It is like... You get towards the end and it's like, actually, what the fuck did I just read? In the best way possible. I've been chasing a high ever since I read this. I don't even want to give too much away of the plot. It's just so good, you guys. We're moving away from the mysteries, the thrillers, and moving towards the romances. I'm really not a romance girly, I have to admit. So if I'm recommending a romance, that means it's good. Trust. So the first one I don't actually have here, which is Happy Place by Emily Henry. But I do have Funny Story by Emily Henry, which the two are, in my mind, kind of equal. I personally preferred Funny Story, but a lot of people prefer Happy Place. And I think you could rank them equally. I would probably say if you are starting out, just start with Happy Place, just because the general consensus is that it is more popular, so you're most likely to prefer it as well. But if you like it, you can move on to Funny Story. Now, a lot of Emily Henry books are quite similar in nature. They're very easy to read, they're a good time, they're quality banter. In Happy Place, we have a group of friends going away on summer vacation to a house that they always used to summer at. Now it's being sold, so it's their final summer there. It is their happy place. And the main character and her fiance have broken up, but they're kind of fake dating so that the friends don't get sad about it and like don't have their summer ruined by it. And I don't like fake dating trope, but I do there. It's really good. Funny Story is also fake dating trope, and again, really good. In Funny Story, the couple that is fake dating is only dating because their fiancés broke up with them for each other, so now they're kind of left alone, and so they're fake dating to kind of, you know, make them jealous. It's really comforting, really easy to read. Happy Place has a complete summer vibe. It's very, if you like Steph Borer, you will like Happy Place because it's the same vibe. Did I lie? The second romance I have for you guys is Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. Now, this is part of a universe. It's not really a series. The books are interconnected, but you really don't have to read each of the books to understand. Like, you don't have to read all of the books in a certain order. I haven't read the other books yet because I'm not that much of a romance girly, so I may even prefer them, but this, I ate this shit up. We are following Brianna, who is a doctor. She works at a hospital, and then she meets another new doctor, Jacob, who also works at the hospital. We're not really getting that much of them at the hospital, to be completely honest with you guys. What's fun about this book is that Jacob has anxiety, and the way it is depicted, it is so accurate. I've never related to a character more in my life. Whenever we get his thought process on something, it's like, yes, yes. So I would say, honestly, if you have anxiety, this is low-key a good book to read, just because you feel really seen. And also if you just want something lighthearted. If you are a fan of Grey's Anatomy, low-key, I would read this. I would recommend. I was watching Grey's Anatomy while I read this, and it did not disappoint. So, y'all, we are flying through this. I think the next ones, okay, the next three are all series. Take me away. Take me away, officer. Number 4 is, of course, the Magnolia Park series. I have all 5 books. Actually, the last 2 are on my TBR card, but I just can't bring myself to read them because I don't want the series to end. That's how serious this is. This is the book that I recommend to all of my friends. All of my friends. I have seen some reviews that didn't like this book, which shocks me because I can't imagine a single person not enjoying this. Straight up. I'm gonna start by saying this. If you like Gossip Girl, you will like this book. We are following a group of friends who are in the high society of London. They have been friends since their early years of like high school. Now that they're done with school, there's a lot of drama that unfolds in all of these books. There's not a specific plot, and that's the only critique that I will accept. But in the same way that in the sense that I dare you to tell me the plot of Gossip Girl and don't bring up Mike's mic. You say it in 2 sentences. You can't, right? Same vibes. We are really only here for the characters and the drama. We are really involved with the characters. It's not, okay, I expected this book when I picked it up to be quite like surface level, low-key, slightly bad writing, low-key, slightly TikTok style book. I didn't feel that way about this book. I get so invested in this book. Every time I pick up a book in the series, even if it's not a book that I love in the series, because I didn't love the second one, but still, best believe I'm sat there constantly thinking about it, trying to read it as quickly as possible, but also trying to save it. It's like this is the only book where I'm watching a TV show while I read in my head. Like, I'm seeing it all happen in such a specific way. I love this book series. It is such a vibe. There's no better way to explain this. We are following Magnolia in her books, but every other book is about Daisy. So we have a Magnolia Parks book, we have a Daisy Hayes book, then another Magnolia, then another Daisy, then another Magnolia. You will feel happy, you will feel inspired, you will feel motivated, you will feel crushed, you will feel devastated, you will feel angry, you will feel annoyed, like you'll feel every single emotion out there. Hey, you should read it right now. I can't stress this enough. This is such a fun read. Oh girl, it's time. This is, I would argue, the best fantasy series out there. I said it. I said it. Oh my god, these are so many books. Okay, we have arrived in the top 3. P3, not me pretending we're doing podium like in F1. P3 goes to the Grishaverse. Okay, so the Grishaverse is, think of it as like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but less extreme and better in quality. And that comes from someone who used to read all the X-Men comics. Like, I used to be a Marvel diehard. This is not superhero vibes, but low-key, kind of. The Grishaverse is a fantasy world, a universe in which Grisha exists, and Grisha are like low-key, how do I explain Grisha? Grisha have different abilities. They're kind of like superpowers, low-key. There's like specific kinds of Grisha and they have specific kinds of powers, okay? Within the Grishaverse, there are 3 book series. These are all the books, and then there's a few stand-alones, but I haven't read those yet, so I don't want to speak on them. We start with Shadow and Bone. Now, a lot of people out here say that you can read each series without having to read Shadow and Bone, for example. Like specifically Six of Crows, this is the most popular amongst all. People out there say, yes, you can totally read this without reading Shadow and Bone. No, I did that. I made that mistake, and they are lying. They are literally lying to your face. What's going on? So yeah, I did that, and I wish I didn't, because I hated Six of Crows when I first read it, like the first 80%. But I was like, you know what? I feel like I would love this if I knew what the fuck was going on. So read Shadow and Bone. Now Shadow and Bone follows Alina, who, girl, she goes through so much bullshit, but it's epic. It's low-key epic. She's like kind of a nobody, and then turns out she's like this crazy prophet. She's the sun baddie. What the fuck is it called? I forgot what it's called. She's the sun baddie. She is the sun summoner. Girl, I don't even know how to put this all into words, but it has been made into a series on Netflix, and I low-key recommend. So many people hate the series in the fandom, but I don't. I think it's the most beautifully adapted series I've ever seen, just because the casting is the most accurate in any adaptation ever. But it follows Alina. She's the sun summoner. She goes through some crazy shit, y'all. There's this huge, massive, weird thing in the Grishaverse called the Fold. It's like this crazy cloud. Yeah, let's just say it's that. It's like this big black thing of fog, and you go in and there's these creatures that will kill you and eat you up and shit. I would say, right, if you want a fantasy for the sake of the fantasy, not necessarily for the romance, Grishaverse, go for it. Shadow and Bone specifically, very cozy, very incredible world building. If you want something that is very well rounded, there's a proper plot. There's so much going on. There's a badass female character. There's in general badass female characters. Shadow and Bone. Then move on to Six of Crows. Six of Crows, this is where the party gets started. Okay, this this is where it all begins. With Six of Crows, okay, guys, sit down for this. I think fantasy needs Ocean's 8. Ocean's 11, whichever one, girl, I don't care. I love a heist. I love a heist. This is what we get in Six of Crows. We are following the Six Crows. We're all very different. They have their own abilities, their own sort of powers, and it is the most suspenseful thing ever. It is so much fun. I've never had more fun reading a book ever in my life. It is just so like, I get it. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. I eat it up every time, but I only get it if I read Shadow and Bone first. Guys, trust me, it is much more enjoyable. What is really fun about the series, universe in general, every book gets better. Like, it starts out great, and then it just ends up marvelous. The final series in the Grishaverse, this might be so overwhelming, but trust, you will not want this to end. It's King of Scars. King of Scars follows Nikolai, who we meet in the Shadow and Bone series. He is a recurring character. He is my favorite character. Dare I say the best character? And these are his books. You think Six of Crows was good? Girl, listen, if you want to be invested in something, if you want to sit with something for a while, if you're the type of person who gets excited when they find a new series to binge watch that has like 7 seasons, this is it. And it has suspense, it has heists, obviously, duh. It's like just so much fun. It is so much fun. All the characters are great. You get so deeply invested and just obsessed with all these characters. I'm in love with all of them. Awesome! We have arrived at the second best book series to read if you're trying to get into reading. This one is kind of obvious, but it has to be mentioned because it's obvious for a reason and it's popular for a reason. It is, of course, the ACOTAR series. If you don't know, let me put you on. This is a fantasy, I would say romantasy, also a book series that follows Farah, who is, she's just some girl. She's honestly low-key. She's just some girl. She goes into the woods and she kills a wolf who turns out to be a fairy. This book is about fairies. And the fairies show up to her house and they're like, you either come with us or we kill you. And so she goes with them. And then, you know, shit happens. Low-key, she be falling in love with the fairies. And before you know it, there's war. Now what? There's so much that happens in these books. I hate to say it, but I love them. I really, they're great. They're great, they're popular for a reason. They are what got me into fantasy, I would say. Like, I was an avid reader for a while. However, this type of fantasy I wasn't really exploring, I wasn't reading. It really opened me up to fairy smut. No, I'm kidding, I don't like smut. Low-key, there's some smut in this, like there's some spice. So if you're not into that, maybe this isn't for you. But I'm not into that and I still like the series. So yeah, I used to really not be a fan of fantasy at all, to be honest. Like, growing up, low-key hated fantasy books, and now they're my favorite genre, and I do appoint it to this series. Call me basic, but this is the kind of series you will binge and then you'll think, God damn it, why did I read this? I will never find anything like it again. So it makes me kind of sad, but also you guys saw me talk about Shadow and Bone. There are better things. The second and the third book are the best. I said it. I feel like I'm hosting Miss Universe right now. Okay, this is who got P1 in my race of my favorites. The number 1 book to read if you're trying to get into reading. Girl, this one's gonna be obvious to some and not to others. The Song of Achilles. Listen, I can prove, I have physical evidence that this book does in fact get you into reading. You know why? Happened to me. It happened to me. This is the book that got me into reading. Straight up. So of course it's gonna be number 1. Like a lot of people, I was a reader growing up and then I wasn't reading for the majority of my high school years. I mean, I was only reading whatever we were supposed to read, or I would read like every few months. You know what I mean? But I wasn't like, I need to read something every single day. I need to constantly have a book going. Until I read The Song of Achilles. One of the best books ever. I said it. And I know that this is one of the most hyped books on like Book Talk. And then you actually read it and it's actually incredible. It is so good, and I reread it last year and it still holds up. This was the first book that really got me into it, and it's still as good today. So, it speaks for itself. In this book, we follow Patroclus, who is me. He falls in love with Achilles. We follow the story through his POV. It is a modern retelling of the original story, but obviously with heavy on the romance. Heavy on the romance. It is so beautiful. It is beautifully written. It has some of my favorite quotes. It actually has my favorite quote of all time, which is, "I want to eat the world raw." When I read that at 18, freshly graduated, I was like, oh my fucking god, that's exactly it. And to this day, yes, no quote will ever hit the same for me. It's kind of like a coming of age story, to be honest. We're following them from very little to all the way until death. And it's so beautifully written. I cry whenever I read it. I feel so excited. I think I just love it because I feel so deeply connected to Patroclus, because that is exactly what I'm like when I am in love with somebody, just putting them on such a high pedestal and being obsessed with them, but in like a beautiful, innocent sort of way, right? It's my favorite romance ever. If you like One Direction, I feel like you will like this. I can't explain it. I think there's just some sort of pipeline there. Okay? Trust. I love this book. Years later, it's literally been 5 years and it's still one of my favorites. I'm so deeply in love with it. I cannot recommend it enough, even if you are already into reading. Hey, give it a go. That's it. That's literally it. That's all I had to say. I only spoke for 45 minutes. Love. Let me know if you like this video, or if you have any book recommendations for me, if there's anything that I missed. Also, maybe if you're just like starting to get into reading, let me know what you're reading right now. And make sure to follow me and hit the like and subscribe button. And I will see you guys next